Hey guys, what's up? Disney Nuts here. How you guys doing? So today I'm going to show you how to beat the timer on your Canon camera. Beat those 30 seconds to get that extra cool long exposure. Let's go. So it's no secret that the best quality out of your camera is the lowest ISO, and many of these cameras it's ISO 100. But what happens when you're doing a long exposure and your camera only goes up to 30 seconds and it's still too dark? Well, today I'm going to show you using a simple free app that you can get off of the App Store that will show you how to compute the time that you will need to do a really long exposure using ISO 100 and get perfect photos all the time. So without further ado, we're actually going to head over to Animal Kingdom, to one of the darkest spots I know, which is actually Pandora, the world of Avatar. So without further ado, let's head over to Animal Kingdom. Let's go. Okay, the sun is slowly falling here. It's almost 8 o'clock. So right here, across from the entrance of Navi River Journey, you got this little area here, and this is probably going to be the darkest spot we can find. So it makes for a perfect sample for what we're going to try to do. But I want to show you how it looks now. There we go. And what I like of this spot is that there are a lot of colors. There's green, there's purple, red, and that makes the stuff, pop out. Because if you get something that's always all blue, it's just, you can't really identify the stuff and it doesn't look that good. But this spot is probably one of my favorites. And we're going to set up here as soon as it gets dark. Okay, so you can see here that I'm actually going to try to shoot this at 30 seconds and ISO 100. And when you see when I press my exposure indicator on the bottom, it just doesn't make it quite enough to the center. So what do we do if I cannot go over 30 seconds? So that is where the app comes into play. Now, to save some time, what we're going to do, we're actually going to shoot this at a different ISO. It really doesn't matter because we want to just really get the time. So we could then put it into the app and it will tell us the time that we'll be using when we switch it over to bulb mode, and it'll give us the exact number of seconds that we need to leave it open so it looks perfect. So let's go ahead and look for the setting here just to take a quick shot of it. So here is the photo that we're going to be taking at ISO 6400, 2.5 seconds at 5.6, because when I hit the shutter halfway, you'll see the exposure indicator in the middle says it's perfect. So we're going to go ahead and put that information into the app. 2.5 seconds, 5.6 at ISO 6400, and it's going to tell us how much time we need to put it if we want to shoot it at ISO 100. Now when we look at the app, it's pretty straightforward. On the top you enter your current value, and in the bottom it will give you the value that you need to use. In this case, you can actually put in shutter speed, aperture, ISO. We're going to put shutter because that's what we want to compute, and we enter that we used on the first photo, which is 2.5 seconds at 5.6 and ISO 6400, and bam, there you go. Tapping the shutter button on the bottom tells us that it needs to be 2 minutes and 40 seconds. As simple as that. Okay, we've gone ahead and started it, and let's see what happens. I'm going to go all the way 2 minutes and 40 seconds according to the app. Okay, we're almost there. Let me tap the screen to stop. And there is our photo. Perfect exposure. Look at that. Amazing. Let's go ahead and do the same thing with the waterfalls. Let's go. Here we are in the part of the waterfall. We're going to do the same thing. 1 second, 5.6 at ISO 16,000. And let's go ahead and take that shot and see how it looks. Then we're going to put those numbers into the calculator and see what we get if we want to bring it down to ISO 100. Okay, we're coming up on the 240. I apologize because I need to tap the screen to stop it. So you're going to see how the photo comes out. There you go. Perfect exposure. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the photos here in Lightroom so we can see the differences. As you can see, the one here on the right is the one that was taken at ISO 16,000. Obviously, a lot of noise there. That's obviously to be expected here at shooting at that high ISO. And then the one on the left is the one that we shot at ISO 100. And you can see the difference as it looks way better, obviously, at ISO 100. And again, this was using those 2 minutes and 40 seconds to get that extra long exposure at ISO 100. And if we're doing the same thing with the next shot that we did here, which was the one with the fountains, or the here at Pandora, the one on the left, as you can see, if I zoom in here, obviously you'll see there's a lot of noise here on top of the rocks here, because again, it was shot at ISO 16,000. Once we entered the information to the calculator and typed it in, and we got basically the same information, which is where we would be using 2 minutes and 40 seconds. You can see obviously here on the right, it looks way better, sharper, cleaner. And again, it's no secret that the best photo coming out of your camera is ISO 100. And there you go, guys. Here's the difference. As you can see, one compared to the other. You can see how sharp it looks here on the right. You got that nice glossy water effect. Now these photos aren't touched too much. I didn't do much editing. They actually basically have the same setting, just the default setting they have. But a little bit of work and you can see it will look way better. And there you go. That's how you do extra long exposures, and these are the images to prove that using a longer exposure, even if it's over the 30 seconds, you can get a really good photo at ISO 100, no matter how dark the situation is. Now, pretty cool, right? Now, another tip that I like to give people, if it's really dark and you find it really hard to focus, look for something that has a little light. And even if needed, actually use your phone and point to something. So that way you can get your camera locked in. And once you got it locked into focus, you can go ahead and turn off the autofocus, and you do not need to touch it for the second photo at all. And another thing that I always recommend is try shooting where there isn't any people, because that way you can shoot actually even if the park's open, which is what we're doing here. As you see, we're shooting towards the fountains, and that way we don't need to worry about people crossing in front and other stuff like that. And then leave the other photos for when the park closes, where you want to get stuff where you're looking towards like a bridge or something like that. So there's another tip for you. Okay guys, so that's it. That's how you beat the timer on your camera and being able to get the best possible exposure using ISO 100 off of your camera. Let me know below if you use this video and were able to take any good shots besides Disney or any other location which you found that was extremely dark, and how it came out. I'm curious to know. Okay guys, if this is the first time watching these videos, my name is Disney Nuts, and I do these types of videos of photography, of Disney photography of the parks, as well as other places. So if you like what you saw, feel free to hit the bell and to subscribe to the channel. That way we keep these videos flowing. And if there's any topic or question that you want to know about photography, feel free to comment below. I'd like to know, and hopefully we could do a video to help you out. Until then guys, stay awesome. See ya. Bye.